Alrighty, this week we've got Sean's VB SLE ready to leave the shop. We've had it in for the last week or two now, just finishing up fitting a new turbo combination to this, along with its built engine that he has recently installed. So we've gone ahead and fitted a bigger turbo, and we'll spin the camera around and we'll talk you through what we've had to do to make the thing fit. So like I said, over the last couple of weeks, just finished off Sean's VB SLE. So recently, over the last couple of years, I tubbed this car to fit a 275/60 with an 8-inch rim. He's gone ahead and recently fitted a built 6-litre iron block LS combination. So recently it was just a standard bottom end before. He had his fun with this combination, ended up going, I think it was 152 mile an hour at the drags with that. He decided to pull it out while it was still all good. He's put in an iron block this time, beefed it all up. So we've done forged rods, forged pistons, sorry, and steel crank. But this time we've opted to upgrade the turbo. So this time we've gone and upgraded that to a pulsar. It's a G50 style 8894. It's quite big. It's very much similar, or this, if not the same as what I've got on my VL with a 5.3, but this one is just the pulsar type. So 1.24 rear housing. When the car was dropped off, we obviously had an issue with making it fit. The bonnet wouldn't shut. So we've had to lower the turbo down and we've had to move it back in order for it to fit behind the headlight and to fit under the bonnet. So we've gone ahead and done that. This time it was previously 4-inch the whole way back. Now it is 5-inch out of the rear housing. We've had to merge that into his existing dump pipe as that goes back down behind the firewall. I think he built this car with the thing in mind of getting it engineered eventually, so he can still do that. So we've had to merge that from 5 down to 4, and then as it dips down through the back there, it goes to 3.5 inch. So in doing that, we've also had to fit an AES exhaust valve. So I'll throw up some pictures that turned out pretty good. What that is you can, through the Howtech on the CAN keypad, at the flick of a button, it runs off a vacuum. I believe it runs a Mac valve as well. So when it sees a certain amount of boost or vacuum, you can open up the valve, and instead of taking off your whole exhaust system, you can just hit the button, opens up the valve, and then you can create less back pressure. So you don't have to get under the car and take the exhaust off. So they work pretty well. They're pretty common these days with roll racing and rotaries and things like that. That turned out really well. So we've done that, we've finished that off, just put a dump piece on there, like a little bend, just to get the heat away from the body underneath. And also, you know, if he's doing a skid, it might look pretty cool. It's gonna push the air out from around the side. While they're obviously lowering it down, we also had to modify the crossover pipe. Things start to get pretty tight around here. So yeah, lowered it down, had to modify the crossover. So I've shortened that. While we were there, we also had a bit of an issue with, so this is his existing fan and radiator setup. This is what he had, so that's what we worked with. Initially, this thermo fan's quite an expensive style. Under speed, it's hard to show, but under speed, the fan blade starts to kick out. So with some wind behind it, the fan has been hitting the radiator hose. So I think this is the second hose he has gone through, but somewhere around here you'll see there's a little nick in the hose. So we've modified the water pump neck. We've put that on a 45-degree angle instead of that being dead straight here. We've cocked it over and turned that to the side just to move the hose away a little bit further. And while we're there, we also removed the fan from the radiator, and we managed to push that fan blade just a little bit further down to eliminate any of that issue, as it's quite an expensive. I think this one pumps about 3,000 CFM, and it keeps the car cool, so we didn't want to go changing the fan blade system just yet. So we've done that. We also had to make or remake the cold side. So from the turbo down to the intercooler is a whole new intercooler pipe. We've had to merge that. The one that comes with the pulsar is a 4-inch round V-band. So we had to modify that, as I didn't want to try and fit 4-inch in there with a front runner. It gets pretty tight. So you want to have functional steering. So we've turned that down and spun that down to 3.5 inch at the top. So that comes down all the way to 3.5. It gets to halfway, goes down to 3 inch, and then we made a new one that goes all the way through to a T-bolt onto his existing intercooler. So initially he was going to run a GDX 55 Gen 1 turbo. It was probably similar, if not bigger in frame. It was probably a little bit too big for this engine combination, and I figured he was going to chase his tail making that setup work. So we've gone for this style 8894 pulsar. Like I said, just to make it fit under the bonnet, lowering it down now so it's all sweet, and we managed to utilize his old beanie, which was cool. So that's all good to go. While we're there, as you can see down here, it starts to get really close to the back of the headlight. So we removed the headlight, and as you can see on this side, this is the style of Bosch. They're just like a removable cover, and you can get into the headlight. I grabbed one of these, and it was very close to his existing turbo. So what I decided to do was go outside. We've got a little garden art Commodore, a lot of people ask about, but she's just garden art. We've come over. This was his original one, which I didn't want to cut up so he can get that back. I raided the parts car out in the front, and we've completely smoothed it off. So we've smoothed this one off, made it flat, indexed it so that when you spin it and it clocks into the back of the turbo, this side is flush, as when you look down on the turbo, it kind of sits on that angle. So this is just an aftermarket headlight, so it's brand new. We'll spin that around and we'll show you once installed. It's just got a brand new piece of epoxy. So I've had a bit of a hole here, new piece of plastic in, epoxy glued it, bit of Bondo, smoothed it off, sanded it. This side was already cut from when I trimmed it with the grinder, and then we've just filled that up with epoxy, Bondo, primed it, painted it, and then we can install it into the headlight. So if we have this up the top and we put this in here, might be a bit hard while I am filming, just set that in here, go like that, turn it, and that's how it sits. So it's nice and neat. We painted that. We'll call that our custom Bosch Germany grey, and we'll go with that. We'll install it in the car, and we'll show you that it will look exactly like this. So when real estate is everything, these are some of the things you have to do. As it's super tight down here, we've now just got enough room so that we can still get a turbo guard down there, and we've modified that factory cover, super smooth, so you can't even tell. And to the unknown, you wouldn't even probably pick it, but it's just the little things that count. He didn't ask to do it, but I knew that once you got the car home and you went to fit the headlight, or if you ever went to remove that, you got to take the headlight out. It's just a pain in the bum, and you probably wouldn't be able to fit a turbo guard or anything on there, which is pretty important, especially on a streeter. So speaking from experience, ask me if I've pulled the back of a headlight out on a Commodore before, and I'll tell you exactly how that goes. So that's all good. We've finished that off. Car's ready to be picked up. It's looking good. He'll take the car home. He's just got finishing touches to finish off on this car. We've got a cooler pipe clamp on this side to finish off, and some plumbing here and there. He's got to go over it. We'll get this thing ready to fire up for the first time, and then he's just going to get it dialed in over at Roll Racing. As you can see, obviously it's still a street car, so no roll cage or anything like that. It's not too serious, but he does have a goal. He wants to make 1,000 at the wheels. I think it's pretty achievable, especially with this fresh combo. So now we can put some boost in it with the Howtech ECU and start to push it a little bit harder. Should start to see some pretty good results, and I'm pretty confident, as obviously we've tried this turbo combination over on my own car and it's turned out well. So that's making over 1205 on a small cube engine. Being a 6 litre, hopefully we can wind this thing up and make some good power. So anyway, we'll get back to it. We've been keeping very busy. This is another car you might probably see in the next video or in the coming weeks. It's getting very close. So demand is one thing, but running a business on your own, it gets very hard. We're starting to work out what it's like running a business, and I don't know if it's just me, but the demand in the automotive industry is ridiculous for parts. Some people will tell you when you buy something, it's going to take you 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and then you get it 10 weeks later. Seems to be the case with a lot of things lately, but we're getting through it one by one. We've only got one pair of hands, so we'll get there eventually. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. We'll get this thing out of here. We'll get stuck into the LC, which is almost finished, and we'll can't wait to show you that one and what we've been doing on that. So if you haven't already, like, subscribe, stay tuned for the next video, and we'll see you all on the next one. Cheers.